Hello students, this video is going to quickly introduce you to a program called Visio. It is part of the Microsoft programs and we're actually going to be accessing the web-based version. Now you may also have a version installed on your laptop, or you might want to talk to IT about having it installed, but we're going to start with the web version so that you can access it anywhere. On our class page, if you scroll down, you'll find in the links section a link called Visio on Office 365, i.e. a web application. Of course, the page may look a bit different to what this one in the video does. There might be different things on there, but we're just looking for this link. And you may also decide to copy that link as your own bookmark or other location to make it even easier for you to access in the future. But clicking on that link should open a new tab in your browser, and hopefully it'll log you directly into the Visio application on 365. If you do get prompted for a login, please use your school email address and computer password to log into the Microsoft products. Hopefully you should see a screen a little bit like this one. I'll just close this pop-up off. Now again, yours will look a bit different because you probably don't have a whole lot of previous files listed like I do, but we're mainly looking for this section along the top. Now, like most products, there are some templates you could start from, but we're going to be starting from a blank drawing. So let's click on that. When it does load, you're going to see it looks very similar to start with to other Microsoft products like Word or PowerPoint and so forth. You have a fairly standard file, home, insert, etc. menu at the top. You have a set of tools that change along here depending on what options you've chosen. In the case of this, because it is designed for charts, we will find the basic shapes that we'll be using here on the left, and of course a big working space that you can zoom in and out of and so forth in the middle. What I strongly suggest you always do with any new document or any new project, whether it's Visio or anything else, is save your work first. So if you come up here to the name area, again, yours might not be called Drawing 4, it'll pick a name for you, but if you click on that, you will be able to change your name. Now, I suggest that you follow my naming convention, which is your last name, then your first name, and then the project file. So in this case, I'm going to put Atomic Nathan and Video Flow Chart because that's what I'm doing right now, and I'll choose an appropriate place to save it. In your case, you should be saving all your work in your folder on OneDrive to keep it nice and safe. I'm just going to leave mine in my documents for now, but you need to save it to your OneDrive, please. And when you're done with that, simply clicking away, you'll see that the name has changed. Unfortunately, the pop-up has just got a little stuck. There it goes. So you can see the new name up there, and it has been saved. So as you do things, you'll see this save option being done. Okay, let's have a look at how we will make our first flowchart. I don't have an algorithm or a sequence that I want to do. I'm just going to demonstrate how the different pieces work. So hopefully you've already talked about flowcharts in class, and you'll know that we always start a flowchart with an oval, or a better name for it is an ellipse, and we can see one here in the left-hand side. To bring a shape in, you simply click and hold and drag it into your workspace. Now I'm actually quite zoomed in at the moment, so I might want to shrink this down just using the normal tools that you might be familiar with from Word or something else, and you can resize it. All these shapes can also have text put inside, so if you double click on a shape, you can see there is a cursor for typing text in, and I'm going to call this Start. And I can also do all the normal things like change the font, change the size, bold, text color, all those sorts of things. But for now, I'm just going to leave it the way it is. So that is my start, and of course I can grab that and move it anywhere I like. But I'm going to start with it roughly top middle of my page. Then we would like to have a process. Something happens in our flowchart. And again, you should hopefully already know that we use a rectangle to demonstrate a process. So here's a rectangle up the top. Let's drag one in. I can use the guides as I move around to try and line it up nice and equally. And for now, I'm just going to click in there and put this as process 1. I'm not doing an actual flowchart. I just want to put some text in there. Then we might have a question being asked. So I'll come down here and grab a diamond. And again, I'm going to try and make that a little bit nicely lined up. And I'll just put some text in here of question, except I can't spell today. Sorry about that. Let's put the Q at the front. Okay, so our question is going to be there. And depending on what answer we choose, this might be option 1. This might be option 2. Okay, and then let's put another ellipse down the bottom. In fact, I won't drag one in. What I might do is demonstrate copying and pasting, of course, just like anything else. Command C, Command V, or copy and paste, right click options, etc. And I'll change the text in this case to be the end. Okay, so I've got all the boxes that I'm going to be using here. The last thing I really need to do at the moment is to join these together into a flowchart to show the path that I use. So I don't need to actually grab anything from the left. I simply need to draw arrows between these. And now here is where one of the really powerful features of using Visio as opposed to just drawing boxes saying word comes into play. So as I move my mouse onto one of the shapes, for example, the start, you will see these green handles showing up. So these are not for resizing or moving. These are anchor points for you to have a flowchart arrow go from or to. So I want to go from the start down to this process. So it makes sense to click on this circle at the bottom, click and hold, drag down. You'll see I'm dragging out an arrow, and I want to lock it onto one of the ones on the process. I could go anywhere really, it doesn't matter, and I will try to make the arrow path make sense, but let's do what seems logical and go straight down. Again, from the process 1, I'm going to grab that anchor point and I'm going to link it into my question. You should really only have a single path into a question, but here I have 2 paths coming out. It might go this way and it might go that way. Then let's pretend this box also comes down and it's going to join into the same end as well as this one. So I've now got paths flowing through. Remember, this is not a real flowchart with details, so I don't know what these processes are, but I can see that I have a start, something will happen, a question will be asked, there's 2 possibilities, they'll end here, they'll go through and end here. There's a couple more things I want to demonstrate. Where we have this question and we have the branches coming out, if you double click on that line, you'll see you get a box, and you should always label your options. So let's pretend this question literally has a yes, no option. So this might be the yes option, so I'll type that in and I'll click on that one and I'll say no there. Again, you can change fonts and everything like that, but it's like adding a special text box in automatically. And the last big feature I'm going to show you, and again, probably the main reason why I would do this in Visio as opposed to somewhere else, is let's pretend I've realized I want to reorganize. I just want to move it around the page to fit better. So if I was to move this process box over to the left, and I was doing this in Word, I would have to redraw all my arrows and make everything line up properly. But because these are actually locked as anchor points there and there, if I simply try to move this box, then my arrows follow and they stay linked together. Everything redraws to try and keep it neat and keeps it all linked together, so I don't have to redraw anything manually. And that is super powerful when your flowcharts maybe get a bit more complex and you realize you have to readjust them on your page to make them fit a bit better. I hope that makes sense, and you can now apply these ideas to the actual flowcharts that you are creating.